Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update Thursday, February 26th, around 10 p.m. Mountain Time, 2026. We've got a total lunar eclipse setting up in less than a week, March 3rd. A partial eclipse will begin at 1:50 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The full eclipse from 3:04 to 4:02 a.m. Pacific Standard, and the moon sets during the eclipse for the East Coast. Full eclipse is visible from the central U.S. to the west, and partial for the rest of the East. Going to be a big event and a blood moon boom. And we've got major snow heading to the U.S. in just a few days, and the models are now lining up. There's going to be a significant storm through the center of the U.S. Buckle up, Buttercup, and keep calm. It's boom time. Well, first, let's start off by apologizing for the audio faux pas last night. It seems to happen at least once a year, and what a waste of time for all our effort, and what a waste of time for you guys. We apologize. A brewing winter storm is targeting millions across America as a fire threat rages in Florida. Yeah, the Everglades are on fire. Here is the current outlook for the storm that will move through Sunday and Monday in the coming days. Well, Florida has been experiencing extreme drought, some of the worst drought in years, and the Big Cypress National Preserve wildfire has now spread to 30,000 acres with no containment. In fact, they even shut down I-75 yesterday. The fire has burned 30,000 acres of land in the preserve, equal to almost 50 square miles. For context, this means the fire is larger than the entirety of Disney World. Smoke and haze can be seen in the sky as a result of the fire, and the dense smoke led to an overnight closure of Alligator Alley on Wednesday. Although the road has since reopened, let's take a look at some of the details, and prayers go out to all those in southwestern Florida.
Smoke from the massive wildfire in Collier County starting to hurt our air quality.
It was difficult to be outside.
And the fire is still 0% contained.
My clothes smelled like smoke too.
We're taking you live to a national fire tearing through Collier County ahead at 5.
An explosive threat or smoke and mirrors? Why a courthouse was forced to clear out.
I see people flooring all the time.
Taking a stop sign as a suggestion. Breaking news, the wildfire just off Alligator Alley in Collier County has now burned 30,000 acres in the Big Cypress Preserve. Now crews say a new line of defense is in place to keep the flames from doing major damage. Thank you for counting on Gulf Coast News at 5. I'm Peter Bush.
And I'm Christy Soto. The inferno is 0% contained right now. It's burned nearly 46 square miles off of I-75. Now, for some perspective, this fire is larger than the entire island of Sanibel, which is about 33 square miles. It's even bigger than the city of Fort Myers. The fire has it beat by 6 miles. Gulf Coast News is getting you team coverage on this massive inferno. Your chief meteorologist, Allison Ray, joins us in the studio tracking the winds that could impact where this smoke goes. But first, Gulf Coast News reporter Alexa Velez is live on the front lines of this firefight. I can tell you guys that the conditions are looking much better today than yesterday. We had actually driven down the alley and the smoke was so thick it was hard to see the cars in front of you, but I'm gonna get out of the way so you can take a look. Just take a look down the alley and you can still kind of see the haze in the distance on the horizon. It's looking hazy too, but we're not seeing those big plumes of smoke today, just little ones popping up in different areas. Nothing compared to last night when troopers had to actually shut the alley down.
You could definitely look down the straightaway and the highway and see this haze across the highway. So it was pretty bad.
Neil Estano is staying in Everglades City. He says the smoke reached them all the way over there, and he took this shot of what looks like a mushroom cloud.
It was difficult to be outside. Scratchy, as I said, just my eyes are scratchy, and it just, you could smell the smoke. Actually, my clothes smelled like smoke too. It was that thick, and the visibility was pretty bad.
The National Park Service said this morning the fire is burning about 30,000 acres, and it still remains 0% contained.
Why is that? We're on day 5 of this fire, so I asked Big Cypress National Preserve, and they said containment means they're making a secure line around the fire so flames don't cross over I-75. Right now, there's still significant fire activity south of Alligator Alley, and they're not ready to say those lines will hold. Our dry and windy conditions certainly aren't helping either.
There's a crunch when I walk outside. It's dry, and it's probably going to be like that from what I've lived here my whole life, so it's going to be like that for maybe a little while longer.
Alligator Alley is back open, but people are monitoring conditions as this storm moves east. Totally uncontained, 30,000 acres burned, and we'll have updates tomorrow on the fire. And now the full forecast. Fire weather concerns for the plains. Thunderstorms in the southeast, record warmth spreads in the southwest. We've got elevated to locally critical conditions that will persist across the high plains for fire, but the big fire is in the Everglades currently. Showers and scattered thunderstorms are expected over parts of the southeast and the Florida Peninsula as well. A clipper system will bring modest snowfall and strong winds from the northern high plains into the upper Midwest this weekend. Record warmth will persist across the southwest. It was balmy out here today, and all the snow has melted. Holy macaroni. Let's take a look at what's going to be moving across the U.S. in the coming days. Here is the GFS model, and let's just move it through here. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A little clipper is going to move through the likes of Indiana, Ohio, PA, and the Northeast. And then the big storm will develop here on Monday, March 2nd, and move east. It's now dipping south, so the biggest hit region are going to be, in my opinion, it looks like the mountains of West Virginia, as well as Virginia itself and the southern tip of the Delmarva. More systems behind it, which with mostly rain, will remove all of the snow and cause flooding as we head into the middle of March here. Take a look. System after system is battering the East Coast. Absolutely insane. And we'll have a severe weather threat beginning on Thursday, March 5th, that will continue for the rest of spring. Dang, dang, dang. It's coming. No one's bumming. Let's take a look at the total snowfall accumulated through the model and see if some of these basins may recover. We'll move it through. Here's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, March 3rd, March 4th, March 5th, March 6th. Good precipitation out in the Rockies. Good news there. Excellent precipitation in the east. March 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. It looks like the snow pattern is going to continue through March, through mid-March. Good news there. 4 foot or more in areas of northern Colorado. Good news for the basins. We really need this, or it's going to be a crazy fire weather season, and the Northeast is buried. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Al Gore says it doesn't snow anymore, but we all know better. Seismic update. No real quakes of note. Normal activity worldwide. Interesting rumbler in the East Coast here. 3.0 just kicked off in South Kakalaki. That's South Carolina. For all those that are not in the know. 5.2 in Hirara in Japan, but that's pretty regular activity there. Bringing us to worldwide volcano news for the day. Mayon, an eruption was reported with a volcanic cloud. Canleon volcano, an eruption to at least 17,000 feet. We do have footage from that. Absolutely spectacular explosion over at Canleon. Sangay to 20,000 feet, Liwotolo to 6,000 feet, Fuego to 14, Reventador to 14, Canleon to 17,000 feet, and we do have footage of that volcano, and it is spectacular, that eruption. But I do digress. Ibu, an eruption was reported, 7 Kaya, sporadic puffs. Semadu, who knew, now you do, a 15,000-foot blast there. Mayon, puffing and passing to 9,000. Volcanic emissions continuous at Sangay to 20,000 feet. Frequent volcanic ash to 14,000 at Fuego with Canleon. A 12,000-foot eruption was reported, and here's the initial 17,000-foot blast that is quite spectacular. And that wraps up worldwide volcano news for the day. Now, we do have a total lunar eclipse coming up on March 3rd. Don't miss out if you're in the U.S., especially in the West. A partial eclipse begins at 1:50 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The full eclipse from 3:04 a.m. to 4:02 a.m. Pacific Time. We're in the Four Corners. We're going to see the full eclipse, and we're going to get it a little earlier than the West Coast. The moon sets during the eclipse for the East Coast. Well, it's quite unfortunate for them, which is why we left the East Coast anyway. So get out and look up. Space weather for the day. The sun has gone quiet. We do have a sunspot turning around the limb and a plage to the south. None of them are flaring as the Earth facing quiet is real. A 14,000-year-old ivory tools that are found in Alaska hint at how Clovis ancestors first arrived in the New World. Yeah, these archaeologists are totally confused, and they have no idea what's going on. The fact that hominids have been on all continents for over 150,000 years is beyond them, but they're just getting there. Ancient artifacts unearthed in Alaska reveal migrants from Asia might have come to the Americas via an inland route and not a coastal path, which is the current theory. But I do digress. All the links will be below. Neither sapiens nor Neanderthal. Scientists finally reveal the truth about a 28,000-year-old child using DNA. Direct bone dating narrows the extinction window and reshapes a 25-year-old debate over human Neanderthal inbreeding. A new radiocarbon reassessment has established that the so-called Lepedo child from central Portugal was buried approximately 28,000 years ago. Several millennia after Neanderthals are widely thought to have disappeared from the fossil record. Well, it turns out this child was a Homo sapien, as predicted. 3 days ago, Siri's science team unleashed this article. Scientists successfully predict when and where dangerous solar storms are likely to happen. A breakthrough forecasting method validated by a surprise solar eruption on the far side of the sun has now come to light. And Willie soon is a boom. And links will be below. Silver now up at $90 and crushing it. And you just have 2 days left for the limited time offer over at Goldco. Up to 10% in free gold and silver, free secure storage, and a free home safe. Yeah, 10% in free gold and silver, a free safe or free storage when you pay with cash. And you just have 2 days left. That's why we support Goldco, and we've partnered with them, an industry leader from precious metal IRAs to direct purchases of gold at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon. The contracts are coming in for silver, and they are well below the margin, which means that there have been millions of ounces purchased, and there's only 1 million available. The silver market is going to go through the roof. Midday tomorrow, mark my words. This is not financial advice, but if you want to hedge your bets, silver and gold have never lost their value like fiat currency, which always goes to zero. So hedge your bets and, well, protect your retirement with precious metals. Do it now. Go to diamondlovesgold.com and request your free 2026 gold and silver kit. No obligation. Do it now. You have 48 hours to cash in on this Celebrate America's 250th anniversary special. Get it now, and that is a boom. To knowledge, hit the thumbs up, share the video. The most important thing you can do for us is subscribe to the channel and help the channel grow. We love each and every one of you. Be safe, and that is a boom. And we apologize for the audio faux pas.